Welcome to another episode of the Caribbean Currency Podcast, where we combine Caribbean culture with financial literacy. And we got a special guest today in the building.
Not even just a special guest, you know what I mean? Like a real mythical figure, you know what I mean? Like I remember when I was a youth man. I mean, I don't already know him just from being in the projects and being able to grow up around him, but I just hear other people's stories about him, and it just be so grandiose and so mythical, filled with truth and, you know, storytelling, you know, our Zeus, you know what I mean? Like however you tell a story, you know what I mean? It is what it is. I couldn't wait to tell this story when I was going to school, you know what I mean? So without further ado, introducing to you, Robbie Cat Smiles.
Legendary.
Before we even dive into anything, big bro, like, Cat, I never asked you once, who give you that name, how you get a name, why you get a name, Cat?
The streets.
Right.
Like, it only had two cat.
Right.
Super Cat and Robbie Cat, or just me Cat.
Right.
And it was like more sort of like, it was like a way of life. You know, and he wasn't loud, obnoxious, smooth, quiet, but serious at the same time. And it kind of came from being able to, you know, get a lot of girls.
Oh, that's about to ask. The swag.
Because
when we call a man a cat, we don't even think a super cat.
Yeah, no.
Like when I call a man a cat, I thinking about Rabbie and how clean he was moving, you know what I mean? Still to this day, you know what I mean? Still fresh all these years later.
So it just became like a lifestyle, but I learned it off of, guess what, my older siblings then.
Right.
You know, because I was kind of the quieter one and they was more out there, so I just took my time.
Yeah.
So then now when I jump off the porch, I was T2G. I was trained to go.
Right.
You know,
they don't lay a foundation for you. They don't show you what things, how you told to move, what's expected
how to dress,
of you.
and
exactly.
yes.
How much
What the standard is.
Right. How much siblings you had?
Well, on my father's side, he gets 17 kids. My mother got 6.
Right.
So, you know,
Right.
I got, that I grew up close around was more so at my mother's side.
Right.
Than, you know, my father got a lot of kids all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of, but the Smiles and, like, you know, it's actually like a Rojas bloodline.
Right.
It's a Spanish bloodline. I'm mixed with Puerto Rican and black.
Right.
So then now I kind of identify as black,
Right.
but a lot of my traits and behavior and temperament is that of a Puerto Rican.
About Puerto Rican.
You know, so yeah.
Right. So how them all the years was knowing that, you know, these 17 siblings, these older brothers, you're one of the youngest?
Yeah. I am the youngest.
You is the youngest.
On both sides or on your mother's side?
On both sides.
Right.
And then now, like, in all the years, all of us grew up playing baseball.
Right.
Any sport, you know, we used to go down on the beach, fish, go on the end of the airport and the dock, fish, go catch crab, climb mango tree. We, you know, kind of raised up doing everything.
Yeah.
Right.
We tough and rough already.
Right.
Before anything happened,
Right.
before, you know, the next level shit, we already done grew up rough.
Yeah.
Right.
So, you know, like, you know, for me, my grandfather named me Roberto
Right.
after Roberto Clemente.
Right.
So he don't have that vision for you.
Yeah, I
At the
mean,
time
like, my grandfather was paralyzed at the time.
Okay.
Right.
And I could, you know, date back to, I became a Yankee fan off of him because he's in the living room on the couch, paralyzed, watching the game. Back then, ain't got no cable. It's only ABC and CBS. So whatever kind of top sport, whether it be basketball or, you know, it'll show. And I became a Yankee fan and I became a baseball player, not just a Yankee fan. The difference is the vision start to grow for me is when I sitting down with my grandfather and seeing them on TV.
Right.
I going on TV too.
Right.
So, like, you know, for me, I want to go on TV, so I'm going downstairs. No one never taught me the game of baseball.
Right.
I taught myself by playing against my older brothers, but then mastering my skills. Because when they left, because they're 2-3 years older than me, they don't have no time to spend with me like that.
Right.
So I got to be by myself.
Yeah.
I took, you know, the wall, and I go pitch against the wall, throw the ball high. If it bounce high, like you mimic, like you're playing in the outfield, you throw it low, it's like the infield, or I use my curve ball.
Right.
And I could hear my grandfather upstairs, because he's Spanish, barely speak English. Rabbie, stop throwing the ball against the wall because he gonna got
He
pain.
gonna hear it.
He gonna got pain the whole
Oh,
side of the
wow, yeah.
building, you know. So it's like so I
tennis
got
ball, right?
Yeah, tennis ball, spongy ball,
Yeah,
any
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of ball.
Any kind of ball.
Any kind of ball.
A ball we could
Right.
find.
So yeah, so I could remember like after that, right, my partner Bull Red, Andres Francois, like a year older than me, he was already playing in Little League. And he tell me that's my first best friend. He want me to come play. I like, there we go. We would have played street ball all the time.
Right.
So I never played organized ball before because 9 years old now, they got La Leche, they got 6 to 8.
Yeah.
Back then it was just 9 to 12. So you
Right.
had to wait until
You were 9.
So my first game was Sam Daly,
Hey.
a legendary coach.
Yeah,
That
man.
was my coach.
That was my
Yeah.
coach too.
He-
I played baseball for Little League for one season and I went to bunt. I went to bunt, right? And my stupid self hold my whole hand.
Boss up your ass.
What? Bust up my fingernail pop off. I started screaming. I looked in the girl for my mother. I was like, mommy, come for me. This game ain't for me. I go play basketball.
Hey.
Listen it.
When Sam wanted bun time, I didn't dug out in it. I stay right in the bench because I the ass.
Yeah.
I say, here we go.
And listen, if Sam Daly wasn't your coach, because I grew up with brothers and
Yes.
Sam was their coach.
Yeah,
and
right.
I remember
And
being
Mr.
there in
Bonelli.
practice. If Sam wasn't your coach, you weren't no
No,
baseball player.
Exactly.
Sam produced a lot of professional baseball players, namely me being the first.
Yeah.
Because like the story goes back to where I just left at. So my first game in Little League, 9 years old, Sam, I think it was his first year as a coach because he used to be Carew from down in the West. So Sam first year is my first year. So Sam gonna go off the list of people who was 12 years old, 11 years old. So I ride in the bench, you know.
Yeah.
I get a big afro, you know, one of them big one, it turn orange from the sun.
Right.
You know, like back in the days, the helmet can't fit. So we losing 9-0. You know who's the pitcher on the mound? You know, Robert Gray?
No, me
You know
no.
Robert Mound? Okay, well, he from St. Thomas, so a lot of people know him as well. He on the mound. So Sam tell me, go ahead and take the last at bat. 2 outs, you know. I go up to the plate and
And you're
I
9 years old.
and I quiet.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it was like something that I think back and I don't forget because it's outside of my normal personality.
Right.
You check? So then I walk up to the plate and I tell Froggy, time out and dig in and then do so and point to the pitcher, right? And do so. Point to the fence. Because we losing 9-0.
Yeah, you going yard.
I've been doing this down in the West.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, stick ball already.
Yeah,
I
right.
done trained to go already.
Yeah.
As soon as he lose that ball, a home run one time. And the newspaper captured that. Right?
Yes.
So from that day, I knew I could have dominated the game of
Yes.
baseball.
Right.
And I did it, you know. Okay, well, I'll take you to, you know, Piney Woods. You know, I did that also as well where just before I signed professionally, I'm in 9th grade, right? And I just, you know, gone out on the mound with no plan, you know. Just say, you know, hey, just whistle to the team. Hey, sit down, turn around, take off your glove. Turn your back, and I strike out the whole side.
So
One
let-
time.
just
Some real Babe Ruth
let me
stuff.
think. So you
Yeah.
take the mound, right? You playing pitcher. That was
Yeah.
your
This was
position.
just
You
before I
played
signed. Yeah.
before you went professional.
Yeah,
You took the mound and tell your teammates that's on the field, you sit down, turn
Okay.
around.
and take off your glove.
So you not confident that this man ain't gonna hit that ball.
No, because it's not just confident, it's overconfident.
There you go.
Because guess what's gonna happen? Instinctively, you as a position player, right? You're gonna sit down and turn your back, right? And do all of that. But if somebody boat up and head kink,
Yeah.
you're gonna fly up off the ground.
Yeah.
So what I got to do is to make sure nobody don't smell none of the ball.
Yeah.
Right.
Ain't no butting up, ain't no
nothing.
foul
Ain't no
ball,
foul,
ain't
ain't
no
nothing.
nothing. 3 up, 3 down.
Yes, sir.
That intimidating to the batter as well.
Yes,
when
of
he
course.
see that,
That's my games.
right, it's mind games.
Yeah.
Yes. And I mean, and then now the killer is just after the while, I, you know, taught myself different pitches. I could throw a fastball from here to here.
Right.
You know,
Different arm angles.
12 to 6.
Right.
I mean, 12 to 6.
Right.
Right. And I could throw a curveball with the same speed
Right.
from 12 to 6. So then now, when I crank up, you really don't, you got like a millimeter of a second because my curveball is coming at 93 miles an
Yes,
hour.
sir.
Right. In 9th grade.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's most people fastball.
Yeah, exactly.
That's most people, like, just for the audience, if you ain't a baseball fan, fastballs is
Right.
90-something miles an hour. Curveballs, the ball will curve a little bit, so it gonna come a little slower around 80 something. His call bop.
Yeah.
193 miles an hour.
And now, like take for instance, when I first went to Piney Woods, I mean, I've been dominated.
Piney Woods, what Piney Woods
Mississippi.
in Mississippi?
So how you get to Mississippi? When?
I'm going to give you the story now. It was like, I've been dominating in the islands locally. Like, you know, like I started from 9 years old. Now I'm at 16 years old. When the Piney Woods decision came up, and I had a partner, Clarence White, Plow. They're already up there.
I know Plow.
They up there, Carey and all of them guys up. They already playing basketball solo.
Let me interrupt you for a second. How you and Plow maintain our youth? Cause you and Plow look our own age. I see Plow the other day, you know, and I like Plow. I went around 20, like in 2002, and Plow coming by the truck. You know what I mean? And I see Plow the other day. I was like, Plow, like you age? Like what happened?
I mean, it'll be a thing for me and thing like that. I don't really try to let shit bother me too much.
The stress.
You know, especially coming from the situation that I come in. Is anything out there in real life could bother me, and it didn't bother me inside.
Exactly.
So, you know, like, it's expected. You're going to be emotional. But do you carry it on forever? You say what you say, you do what you got to do, and then you know, on to the next thing. But, you know, so anyway.
Piney Woods.
So I'm dominating, and I just reached 9th grade, you know, September. December come around, and Plow call me. Landline, ain't got no cell phone back then. And he say, Rabbie, I telling my coach I get a partner 16 years old who throw the ball 95 miles an hour. He don't believe. I want you to come talk to my mother. I always ready to come. So he did all the exams in January. Me and Basso, Elgin Yepson, we went up. So as soon as I reached there the night, put my luggage in the dorm and took us straight to the gym when they had basketball practice because the coach wanted to see this. So then now it had Peter Drago, boss. He was the regular catcher.
Right.
So he got to catch this. When I start to loose it, it's like cannon, like pow. The coach smiling. Drago telling Plow, this your partner, you know. You send for him, you know. I ain't catching him, no. You got to catch him. And Plow was never really a catcher. He's a anything.
Right.
But that was never his position. We play any position, but he became a catcher. So then now, the first game, when March came around, the first game, this is 9th grade. The first game I pitched was a no-hitter. The second game I pitched was a no-hitter. The third, fourth, and fifth game I pitched was all no-hitters, all the scouts coming to our... You know, and we's a blackboard in school.
Right.
So now, it's like it became like a thing in Mississippi where the local white folks was kind of picketing about how can you leave a heap of illegal aliens come up here, because now all the scouts them coming.
Right.
They had one dude named Brad Teague. He was the #1 pitcher in Mississippi. They forgot about him. When I entered the summer league and we had to live with people, he wanted me to come live with him.
Right.
Telling him.
So it's like, so then now it was such like a experience, because like I say, all of us was from St. Thomas. So it was like easy playing around a lot of people that you knew.
Right.
So then now the decision for me came at the end of the summer when the scouts them tell me, you don't need to finish school. You ready right now.
Right.
I'm in 9th grade, so hey, pick up the phone, call my mother. What do you think? My mother is like, this been your dream from time you were small.
Right.
Right? So whatever you want to do, whatever your decision is, I going to support you. So my vision was always to go to the major leagues, yeah. But the thing is, around that time, in 9th grade, before I was destined, in 8th grade, 7th grade, I was destined for the majors.
Right.
Without any doubt.
Right.
Right? But what it is happened in September, my brother, Sibo, he didn't know not what the Snowfall, that series.
Yeah.
It was back in the early, in 86.
Right.
And he went on a run to New York, and that introduced to that.
Right.
And brought it back.
Right.
And it started the hustle. So then now I'm in high school.
Right.
I leave in 12 o'clock to go lunch, and I seen all of this money and all of this and I drive in all his bad cars.
So this is your older brother.
Yes.
From your mother or your father's side?
Father.
So you
Mitchell
I know
Smalls.
a lot of people know you to be a ghetto man. Parliament, Pearson Garden. If they casually know you, they don't really know it. But you actually grew up in the West.
In the West, Cowan Terrace.
In the early days.
Yes.
Right? And so how you end up in the ghettos through your brother?
Through my brother, because from like dating back to when I was in 9th grade.
Right.
Right? Like he was already there.
Right.
You know, you don't controlling the situation.
Right.
You know, dealing with everybody properly. So then now, years later, I converted from down in the West is because they had built up a church right next to our neighborhood turf.
Right.
So it became congested and this and that. I needed some place to go hang out. I ain't want. So I said, I go and hang out in the ghettos with a Sibo. Normally to be, and like I said, from back in the days when I was younger, you know, playing ball and things like that, I used to frequent in there. And I just end up in there, you know, and the rest became history. Yeah.
Right. So how, like, that balance of, like, being in sports, knowing that you have that promising career, and then your brother taking off in the street life, making a, you know,
I mean,
what
like
you call real fast money.
Yeah, and the now money. You call it right now.
Right now.
Not tomorrow.
Right.
And like for me, for us growing up in the West, we didn't grow up rich.
Right.
Like some people, you know, that had parents that got this. Me and my brothers didn't. So like for the first time, like, you know, the money now, I could remember when I made the decision to go Piney Woods. See, will give me $1,500 just to keep it go in my pocket. I never had $1,500 in my life. So then now when I'm in Piney Woods, right?
Right.
I thinking about all this action I just leave on all this money and thing like that, you know.
Yeah.
I could even remember one time just before going into the playoffs, right? The last game, me ain't going, I gonna go home, I make up a sham. Just to go home, you know, to go lime a little bit, you know, and then come back to Piney Woods is because of the same street life. I had just got introduced to the real street life then.
Right.
The regular rough and tough thing around the edges, that's everybody that when they're young. You know, but as far as the streets, that's when I got introduced to it. So then now, I signed professionally out of 9th grade. But my mind was like, you know, the street stole my dreams.
Right.
Because I was always intrigued by what it is, what's going on at the time.
So you couldn't even focus.
No, the majors and Hall of Fame sound like it.
Yeah.
In the distance.
Yeah.
In this
This action here.
Right
and
now.
then now you got to understand that.
You're a Hall of Famer now.
Yes. See, and my brother is responsible for inventing this. So what we did, we just basically put a chokehold on the situation. So everybody started to fall into place, you know. Like for me, as quiet as I was, I kind of became the security. So then now it's like, when I was playing ball, I worried and concerned about them, what going on. Suppose somebody want to test them, man. Who gonna do this? Who gonna do that? So every time after the season was over, and they got to buy, the Cubs got to buy a plane ticket. Is wherever they at, is where I going.
Right.
And I gonna hang out with them, do whatever until it's time to go back and play ball.
Right. So what ultimately, we know, obviously, as talented as you was, gifted as you was, the 5 no-hitters, 4 or 5 no-hitters in a row, the scouts, everybody on top of, you know, this Roberto Smiles. Ultimately, what it is, what transpired, what incident, what situation, what event happened that made you say, man, no, I fall on in the street right now. Like, I can't, baseball ain't even an option for me right now.
No, well, because before, we never was faced with no tragedy.
Right.
The closest thing we ever been to any kind of tragedy when Sibo got shoot through and through his neck. But he survived, right?
Yeah.
Cool. You know, wow, he survived. So then now that's years before. So years later now, and our season, I came, time to go back to play ball, but I'm hanging out with my brothers here in Atlanta, DeKalb County area. Right, but actually we was in Augusta, Georgia, in a house.
Right,
chilling, watching UNLV and Duke playing the state championship.
Right,
we got caught up in the game and decided like we're gonna just leave when the game done and drive 100 miles an hour up I-20. Right, cool, no problem. So you got a little old 38. We don't have no standing beef.
Right,
but it's still, you know, we got jewelry. You know, so I got 38, so I stick it in my waist. So we decide the party is on Memorial Drive.
Right.
We don't know exactly where, so we come to an exit, a gas station closer to where.
What's crazy is that I was telling somebody the other day, like, I don't think people understand that we in Atlanta, how we in Atlanta, not because choice, but you had done already
done
come and
paved the way.
plant these seeds
Exactly.
for the rest of us who home.
Today there's parties in Memorial Drive.
Today's parties on Memorial Drive. Today is like you have VI picnic and you have this and that. Back then it was like New York was the place to go when you're leaving the island. But I used to really come Atlanta, come Augusta, come in the south and really plant them seeds. Though we have this huge VI community that dominate the Atlanta scene.
Yes. And like even with that, I mean, something like where they dubbed us the Island Boys. In St. Thomas or St. Croix, you can't really call nobody, ILO, Island Boy,
Right.
because you're talking about like lesser.
Right.
Because it's a terminology come from the British Islands, the lesser people, and so you can't call a local. But what happened up here is the stateside people is what does the Island Boys. We never call ourselves the Island Boys.
Right.
They just, saw us as that. But then now, anyway, back to the story we were talking about. So we pull off at a gas station right next to the phone booth, right there, like you could,
Right.
and music playing. We went in the store and come back out, music playing, and I hear pow. I turn instinctively. I see my brother drop, pow, and then I see somebody hand like that, and pow, pow, and then turn in the car and start to pow, pow, pow. So I duck my head like under the dashboard, all the windows them getting shoot out and thing like that. Then I realized the front window getting shoot out, right? And then now it's like, so I know it's like, it seemed like you ain't here to really kill because you don't move.
Right.
You don't go to the front window. I done ducking. It's like a getaway. So he had a pause. When they had the pause, I jump out and I see him running behind the store and I take off, just like the movies.
Right.
Right? Pow, and he pow, and pow, 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 right? And he got behind the store. That's the fastest I ever run in my life. You know why? I just witnessed you kill my brother.
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody don't survive them things.
Yeah.
Right.
So then now he going behind the store and he got like a little creek, like a little water creek.
Right.
He run up. And I aim, pow, and hit him and he fall and I going up and I swear to God, I know when the police them come find me, I gonna be eating him because once again I just said, you kill my brother.
Right.
So anyway, he get up on his knees, right? And a knee and point at me and fire. And but at the same time, I running up, I had to flip to avoid the shot.
Right.
Flip, roll back down in the water. He get up, fire a shot. My shit empty is a 5-shot 38.
Right.
So he run through the bushes and I get a project back there. So then I come back and go back around by the grocery store by the gas station, throw the gun in and go back by the car. And my brother and the car, and the driver and my partner, the other passenger in the back, he consoling him. And my brother telling me to just take care of his kids. And I like, take care of your kids, what? You can see just a graze in the back of your head because he had a gash. But what it is happened, the dude come up to hit, but he felt something behind of him. So that's what knocked him down.
Right.
But then now the dude shot him 2 times with a 45 on both sides of his spine.
Right.
But all the blood stayed internally, so you can't see no bleeding.
Right.
It's just that.
Right.
And that's when the police, when the ambulance and everybody came and thing like that is, and I just like, my partner consoling my brother, take care of my kids and this, and ain't nothing wrong. I like somebody missing because it was 4 of us in the car, right? And it's like somebody missing. When I look up in the car, my cousin in the back seat like this, when I go around, he got a baseball cap, 1 shot in his head. So the dude, like when he probably come up from behind the car, his BMW rag top, the windows them real big, and he probably pick up the 1 shot in his head.
Right.
So then now after that day, it's like, it was time to go back to spring training, and I couldn't see myself going there.
Right.
Like going back to play baseball, like not at that time. Because like I said, we never went through no tragedies before, other than, people getting like, stabbed and things like that. But the time was far death, we was never faced with that before. So that way was the slippery slope for me.
Right.
I came back home and things like that, and the cops find out, like, because when I didn't report,
Right.
they kind of, why he reporting, and they did it, like, what? who did we sign?
So all this time you signed to the Cubs,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
In out of ninth grade still?
Yeah.
Out of ninth grade,
Yeah.
the Cubs signed you
Yeah.
to the minors,
Yeah.
to the minor league contract.
Yeah.
So you playing professionally for the Cubs at this time.
When this happened.
And you riding with your brother them and this here
And
just
this-
happened. And
and
you
this-
supposed to report back to spring training
Yeah.
after you just watch your brother get shoot up and
Yeah.
your cousin get killed.
Yeah.
Right?
I
So that's
can't
what-
focus. Because, and I say I couldn't focus, not just solely because of that. I know I couldn't focus is because, like I say, the no money, even when I'm on contract before all of that, the streets had already stole my dreams. Like I don't sign to a contract, but me really want to be here, for a lot of different reasons. Because the streets, the glitter, the glamour, the gold, all of that, the fast life. But also, I signed as a pitcher.
Right.
So I got to wait every 5 days to pitch.
To play.
Right. You want to play every day.
Normally, I'd have pitched today and play shortstop every day. Every time we got game, I'm never on the bench.
Yeah.
Right.
So then now, when I'm on the bench for these 4 days, what do you think I thinking about?
Yeah,
What
back
these
home.
man dealing with?
Yeah,
Man, I can't wait for the season to done.
Yeah.
I want to go back online. So in other words, like I saying, like, was I always in the streets? No. It was just in that same time, in ninth grade when I signed professional, is when I got introduced to the streets.
Right.
So it was like a struggle.
It was a struggle. And plus
that
the
time,
street
and
life
then
for paying more.
And then now looking back, hindsight, I could say that now at 52 years old, how can you expect somebody at 16 years old to make them kind of decisions when there was nobody there to tell him or them what you are doing? I just come from doing 20 years for it.
Exactly.
So in other words,
Because I was the first.
we
There
was the
wasn't
first.
nobody before you
And me,
seeing this type of money, this type of shine, this type of
Yes.
going to the, on top of that, going to the, like that.
yeah,
To even
exactly.
say, okay, watch it. These are obstacles that are going.
Yeah,
I
that
mean?
yeah, no.
Right.
It didn't have them things. So like I say, it was a lot of fuss.
Right.
So then now, like, all of my friends and family that ran the streets eventually succumbed to the streets, whether by death or 20-something years in your ass.
Right.
So then now everybody, it's just a generation of people.
Right.
Not just us, but everybody in that generation.
In that generation.
Is who, and if you're alive
One
right now,
not sure whether you end up on drugs, whether you sold drugs, whether you die.
right now
whether
you
go
got
to
that
prison.
experience that you could teach.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I try to do all the time, by way of my experience,
Right.
So show them the youth man them coming up
Yeah.
behind a way. That is other ways. You
Yeah,
don't
I
have
mean,
to
like,
do it
when you find yourself at the crossroad, don't go left, don't go right, just go straight.
Yeah.
Like for me, like, I'm the poster child of what not to be
What
when
not
you
to do.
find yourself at the crossroad.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Be better than me, be more brilliant,
Yeah.
I don't try to celebrate myself. I see myself as a disappointment, but I still try to see myself in a positive light by way of everything that I went through. I could share the experience.
Exactly.
Right.
Because there was a lot of people that invested in me, like the likes of Sam Daly. The whole of the Virginals used to come out and watch me play.
Yeah.
And show these no-haters had me in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
How I going to go from out of ninth grade, right, signing professionally, right, to a contract, to being the first person charged, sentenced, and convicted for natural life in the Superior Court of the Virgin Islands? Why this happened?
That's crazy.
Right.
There's a disconnect someplace.
Disconnect
There's a
someplace.
disconnect
So,
someplace.
right.
It was a series of things that happened, but then now, for me, I had to figure it out on my own.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Because usually when we do these type of interviews, we talk about somebody that adult that come up, that struggle,
yeah,
got success. Usually sometime in the midst of that journey, they would stumble a little bit, lose a little bit of it or all of it, and then come back up.
Yeah.
But that happens so early for you.
yeah.
At 16, you were tasked with these decisions that you had to make. Like,
Yes.
do I go down this straight and narrow where I would become the first person to play professional and be a professional baseball player? But then everybody I know and everything that I know
Right.
is in this space here, and this is all I know. And you had nobody to say, you know what?
And then now the killer is like,
Mhm.
like I say, we grew up a certain way. Not, like I say, not extremely poor, but not rich neither.
Yeah.
Mother had to work hard.
Mm-hmm.
And then now, so me and my brothers, meaning the one that I live with,
Mm-hmm.
the four of us, we're the same size.
Yeah.
Size 10, size same waist.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of hand-me-downs.
Yeah.
So I'm the youngest brother.
Yeah.
So in other words, like whatever they was into,
Right.
I was into.
Yeah.
And like, they taught me the game of baseball by giving me the time around them.
Right.
But like, it's like the experiences, right, around these man is what kind of wanted me to always be around. Because it was always fun, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
It wasn't you out there beating up people or nothing like that. It I was venturous.
Yeah.
So then now when crack cocaine and that kind of thing come into play, like I say, we already done battle tested. We done battle ready.
Yeah.
Right.
So anything that came along with that field,
Right.
we like that ain't nothing. We were doing it for free anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You know?
So now, like so now you're a report to the Cubs. You're back on St. Thomas, Rock City.
Mhm.
The street life.
Before we transition, your brother
I
Seaboard,
went back again. You know?
You went
I
back?
your brother Seaboard, I guess, did he live or?
Yeah, he lived. Yeah.
He just paralyzed, right?
No, he just went get shoot through. And
So
my brother Eugene, the one in the car,
Right.
in up in the cab, he ended up paralyzed.
Okay.
Right now he's still walking his way. He's the last one standing.
Okay.
He been in jail about 28 years now.
Okay.
You know, trying, walking and coming out.
I got you.
Right. So that's crazy. All three of you do serious time.
Yeah.
Right. And one of them still fighting to come home right now.
I mean, like take for us, like for me, right? I was sentenced to natural life.
Right.
Natural life mean forever.
Right.
It's just by the grace of God and, just sorting things and, the way, my vision that I wanted for myself in the future and things were kind of propelled me and helped me to come out that I was pardoned
Right.
by Governor Mapp.
Right.
Now, Sibo now.
Shout out Governor Mapp.
Yes. So Sibo now, right? He was sentenced to life too on something else and a drug charge.
Right.
And it took an act of Congress
Right.
in order for him to come out of jail.
Right.
Like laws had
Laws
to
have
change.
to get changed. And,
So then now Eugene is going through the last bit of it and he's in a wheelchair. He went to jail in a wheelchair and still in a wheelchair right now.
Right. Right.
So yeah.
So not reporting, coming home, height of the street life, like what I would like now, like, okay, Eugene just get paralyzed, are you home?
It's time to regroup.
Right.
Because we coming again.
Right.
So Eugene come back home, went through a little therapy and John Bruce Bay and start to feel a little feeling in his leg. And it's time to go back in the streets of Atlanta and Augusta again because, these things expected and, we ain't falling no tent.
Right.
One monkey don't stop no show.
Right.
So then now, next thing we came back up and got back in the swing of things. And I went to a tryout with the Kansas City Royals, right? And they wanted to sign me. But in between that little span of time, I done had about, this was about 2 years in, right? 2 years in, right? I gone do a tryout, but I don't have a lot of arrests on my record, a lot of third-degree assault.
Right.
So
before we go
to, what happened with the Cubs? So the Cubs decided
They had dropped me.
So they find out what was going
because
on?
once I didn't report and they find
so
out
you didn't
exactly
report.
what was going on, the lifestyle. Because one time I came back home off season 2 and I get stabbed in the parking lot.
Oh, okay.
On my back.
Yeah.
So then now it's time to go back. And I still got healed. My spleen got healed.
Yeah.
I went up there and give the Cubs a story. Yeah, man, I was walking through a crowd, the hell, and somebody just then boom, boom, and bow.
Yeah.
And they ride with it.
Yeah.
Give me the little extra weeks off to recover, and then I went back to playing ball.
Yeah.
Right.
So then now when this other thing happened, it's like, oh, so all of that was some
Bullshit.
bullshit.
Yeah.
So but then now when I came back, and then I went with the Kansas City Royal, tried out, they wanted to sign me. But I had about 6, 7 third-degree assaults on my jacket already.
Right.
So I went back home now to try to get them expunged.
Right.
And that's when they killed my cousin. So then now the difference is...
Which cousin?
Quito Enrique Monel.
Okay.
Right? The difference is with that incident and the one in Atlanta, like I tell you, it was a robbery. Well, I didn't never get to explain the one in Atlanta, what it was the dude while he was shooting in the car.
Right.
He was trying to pull the chain off of my brother's neck.
Right.
So it's just a robbery went bad. And then now the dude get away, so we never really know who's responsible. A lot of people went, like my cousin Naki went to jail right after the funeral. My brother went to jail as far as like an avengeful quest, but not for the perpetrator himself, but anybody that tests gonna feel it now. And Naki did 27 years. My brother went to jail for years. He passed away on the run.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, now I gone back home now, and this happened with my cousin, right? And the difference is now I know who are responsible.
Right.
So all of that that happened 18 months ago with Eugene when you didn't have a good chance to get extract some revenge.
Yeah.
St. Thomas and
Different.
whoever responsible gonna feel all this old pain.
Yeah,
Right.
and all the trauma from the first incident
Yes.
leading up to
roll
this one
over.
there too. Yeah.
I'd roll over, and you know, like I say, when the dust settled, I end up with 5 shots in my back from the police and 1 man in a truck dead underneath the street light.
Tell me about that night.
Well, actually, it wasn't a night.
They were in a day, right?
Or even not even the night, not even the incident
the
itself. Like
situation.
what?
What going on?
From when your cousin dead, how you even get to that part?
I mean, when my cousin dead, things happen.
Right.
Boom, bam, bam, the natural course of thing. Right? And like, you know, when I read in the newspaper articles, after going in jail, and I'll be like, yeah, the older man was right, you know. It came a time with because my cousin died in September. I didn't go to jail until January.
Right.
But in between that time, we traveling back and forth, still doing our thing.
Right.
Things happening and things like that in the island over the situation with my cousin. But, you know, and it kind of, you know, time heal our wound kind of situation. And then now I passing in Babel Plaza walking one night, and I hear some gunshot. I look from up the road and I see a car that belonged to a certain dude. I have to do with them, and it looked like they were firing shot after me.
Right.
So I done declare, I said, don't let me see you no place.
Yeah.
Right.
And when I come in the club the night, because normally it was like I came back from Atlanta, but normally when I come back for the weekend, I go out Friday.
Right.
You know, boom, I didn't go out Friday.
Right.
So then now it looked like them dudes used to know when you're on or off the island.
Right.
You check? So I went out Saturday, and I sitting down right there in the club, and I see a crowd of man coming, right? And I see a familiar face that'll be with them man, you know? Everybody responsible, because the one who do it, he don't run off the island to leave all of you to have to deal with this thing, right? So I walk up to him, I say, me, tell her, I don't want to see her in no place. I going to shoot you in your face tonight. And so then now, I done committed now.
Right.
So as soon as the club done and going across the street underneath the stoplight by Wendy's, they come in a truck, and I was trying to shoot like fish in a barrel. You know, and the man duck. And as it turned out, it was something so crazy, because I had like 7 men in a car, in a truck, that come up together,
Right.
but they wasn't together at the beginning. Like
Right.
it was a group of dudes dressed in black. I thought all of them was one,
Right.
but you just meet up, and they were from Freedom Hoy
Right.
and things like that. But they were just in the mix with them, man. But
Right.
you know, so it was like crazy. The dude that got shot in the head was somebody from St. Croix.
Right.
An innocent person. He had just come there Friday.
Right.
But the dude, them who know what going on, they had no to duck.
Right.
But they never tell these
these
other dudes what going on.
Right. Right.
You know, so it's
So he
something like
didn't-
that. They happen. So I end up going to jail for somebody that ain't
They
never
had
really
nothing to
do me
with it.
nothing.
Yeah.
So you see them dudes in the club, fire in your eyes. You say what you have to say.
Mm.
You fire some shot to the back, and somebody get hit. Police want to see immediately.
You know, them police, as soon as they hear the shot, them they run round the corner and see me in the road with my hand down, and they just for them. They just open fire at me, man. They fire
Right.
45 times after me. 5 of them hit me in my back.
Right.
So I had to take off running down towards the ghetto. Every time
with shots in your back.
I get hit every time I run, because they ain't stopping. Right? And
Right.
Wato let me up in the apartment.
Right.
In the apartment, because he happened to be out,
Yeah.
climbing and thing, jam just done, and he let me up. So when I got in there, I don't know, some older lady, somebody screaming, I said, man, it's too much noise. At the time, I didn't know who shoot me in my back,
Right.
because if I had turned around to see who it was, I'd get them here.
Right.
So I facing this way going towards Pueblo. The ghettos is this way, like it's like a V.
Right.
When these behind me, I right on the corner.
Right.
So as soon as I pick up the shot, them I gonna just run so.
Right.
And I get in shoot. Wato let me in, I gone in the back porch, look over the porch. I see the police. I said, what? Okay, well, but I still gotta get away 'cause I look like the man trying to kill me.
Right.
So I take off my white shirt, my finger hanging like fuck. I want to pull off the fuck, but
Can't shoot your
they,
finger.
like, yeah, like I always said, like when I run in, the boss away come through here, right? Take off my white sneakers, leave on my sweatpants, and jump over on the next porch, go down the catwalk, go in another apartment.
Doing this with 5 shots in your back.
Yeah, and then go and then outside it. So I don't throw away the gun I had. So Eugene, my brother in Atlanta, Carl, remember Wise?
Yeah.
Wise is who let me up in that
Yeah, my
apartment.
Wise.
The second apartment.
Which Wise? They got 2 Wise.
Gabby? You talking about
They
Gabby?
got 2 Wise. They got Wise.
The one that live behind the
The
water.
one that live behind Wato.
Yeah.
Right.
He's who that he had been out and let me out when I on scraping for my life. Right, and let me up and he pulled out a thing. I called my brother. They try and call the ambulance. I like call what ambulance. I want some guns. I don't know life and thing then because the man done dead already, you know. Like
right.
we call no ambulance. I listen, the police them shoot me. And I know it's police that I done had problems with. So me liking this right now.
Right.
You know, so then now what happened is while I there and it wrong, like I get shot in my spine, but it was to the side.
Right.
So like, after the blood start, the swelling happened and I got limp. No, I got paralyzed. So the man called the ambulance for me, take me to the hospital. I got in the emergency room. I hear when they get big commotion outside, gunshot going on because it turned out, you remember 2 more man, before I run and the basketball court, they find them same 2 man who...
Yeah, Malik,
yeah.
Falling from wrong
a youth man, he was still like in, like I say, in 9th grade.
Right.
And then Cobra.
Right.
And then man, I get, so then now automatically they blaming me for everybody. So like I gone in the emergency room.
That man happened to fall wrong the same time?
The same time we are running.
Oh,
so
okay.
in other words, when the dust settling and then in the emergency room, the doctor coming and I tell you, cause them man, family coming now. Like their neighborhood coming because they get victim.
Okay.
And my people them coming. So
Yeah.
it's big thing in the parking lot. I in here, shut up. So the doctor come and say, I telling you, Dr. Abba, I'm telling you right now, I am not going to look for no bullet. I'm just going to repair what need to repair because you don't kill 3 people. I like kill 3 people. I only see 1 person get knock out the truck. All the time I didn't know about nothing else that happened by the basketball court.
Right.
So I'm like, what? The man who got operate on me, mad with me already.
Mad with you already.
I ain't got nothing to say.
About what, African Red House,
yeah,
African?
Yeah, so then now they take me up in the CAT scan room. The chief Hyman come up there. I say, you ain't see they shoot me from the back. He said, well, it's over with now. I say, well, I guess so, it's over with now. So now I know me ain't talking no more.
Yeah.
All then I paralyzed, So they take me up in the operating room. They put one of them gun. I say, you get 2 doctors. Dr. Abba and the other man.
Right.
And some nurses, they put my hand over, I think they're going to cut it off.
Right.
Got me asking no more questions, like what they going to do with my finger, So I go and sleep and wake up after surgery. I see a police by the door, I lift up, I look my finger, she's still there, man. No, man, I want to pull it off for real, So
Right.
I get up now and walk to the nurse's station, right after surgery and thing, lot of pain. Call my girl at the time, tell her, leave my family know that because I in hospital fighting for my life as far as anybody, it's serious security. So then boom, I got back now and lay down. They hit me some Demerol for the pain. 2 hours later, Smiles wake up. They get Judge Swan, a stenographer, 2 prosecutor, and 2 public defender in the intensive care room taking my bail away,
Yeah.
Wow.
Because the thought I was paralyzed.
Right.
So then they will leave you like that, but the minute I get up and walk, so then now the newspaper article come out the next day that contusions to the spine is what led doctors to believe that he was paralyzed. So once they took my bail day in the hospital room, I never saw the streets again for 25 years.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
rough.
So
when you say they take your bail away,
Because actually, as it turned out, because of Wato apartment, they need a search warrant to look for a gun that I had. So they had to get a search warrant from Judge Miles. And as it turned out, Judge Miles become the arresting judge. And he put me on $250,000 bail with the search warrant. So when I wake up out of surgery, I get 200. and $50 bail. So if I bail myself, I go home.
Which was easy at that time, the kind of money I was making.
You know, and
Right.
property, you know.
Right.
Like, you know, your family get them
Right.
kind of them houses.
And I want to say, right, from the perspective of a child, because I remember when this happened.
Uh-huh.
I stayed in the same building with Wato, but I was staying on the other end.
Okay.
And it just so happened my parents went out to a dinner at Government House. And me and my older brother, we just hear shots. So we looking out the window like, what happening? We see people running, scattering. Somebody came up on our back porch. It was probably my grandmother who was screaming, telling us, you get away from the window, right? So you could imagine the next day our parents come to pick us up and it was like, so how was your night? Well, let me tell you how our night went. This is what we see. This is what we hear, you know. And it's crazy to hear you say that because growing up, I talk about that experience, you know. And, you know, we would be like, listen, we from the ghetto. Like, this is what happened, you know, around the ghettos. But I remember that like it was yesterday, you know, seeing people running down, going over to the basketball court, running down in front of Ramada.
Right.
Ramada was still there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
crazy.
listen, and like how we started just now, right? It started from like a success story waiting to happen, right?
Yeah.
It sounded like I was bad at any time from 9 years old.
No.
Up until I'm going to shoot you in your face.
No.
So in other words, I wasn't born bad.
Yeah.
It's circumstances and situations what kind of determines your destiny.
Exactly.
Okay, well, I say that to say this, that now when they put me in jail, I mean, not when I put myself in jail, when I'm in jail and they deny me bail, they moved me to St. Croix because I going to escape.
Right.
Somebody going to come and bulldoze the jail to me. So then I'm high security. But just the other day, we're playing professional baseball.
Yeah.
Right.
And you were
And
the
then
sweetheart. You were the
when
darling.
the first day of trial, right? They got snipers on the courthouse roof. They got DPNI in the water. All the roads done by dam and barrel shut down. But me, I don't know how outside look because you go from the cell to the bullpen to the courtroom. Like you don't get to see outside no more like how it was Babel Plaza. You got to take a drive now. The court is in the jail. So then now I go in the bullpen, right? And once again, I ain't talking. I stopped talking from the time the doctor and then people tell me that. So I definitely ain't talking to no correction officers or no marshal. Because in my mind, the minute you ask question,
You're weak.
you're weak. Yeah, and you ain't doing that right now. Too late for that. Right? So I go down in the bullpen, they open up box, they do so. Velcro, the new car smell, they got electronic pack called a stun belt. Would I like electronic thing that go on your back?
Right.
75,000 volts of electricity to go
Jesus.
through you, and they give to the marshal. This is what I gonna wear. Cool. In the courtroom, they got 6 marshals with gun. They bring 3 chairs and put it right behind me and my attorneys and had 3 officers sitting there. So the thing is why you get on the stun belt.
Right.
The stun belt is in case I do anything.
Yeah.
But there's nothing in my history that dictates I would do that. But it's just because it's a high profile case,
Right.
I doing it. So if you get the stun belt, why you need officers?
Exactly.
Right.
If you get the officers, why you need the stun belt? It was like an overkill. Like in other words, they made me pay for all of them times, the snowfall years with my brothers and things that we might have done and got away with because you got to understand it was really us against the police. So because you got to remember when crack cocaine first come to the islands, the police and the narcotic them is who at odds with you. So it's like a like a cat and mouse kind of
That's your enemy, not really primary.
So then now when I find myself in trouble,
Right.
They got
ain't no
him.
baseball talk or nothing like
We
that.
got him.
He's Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
You know, and out of send a message. You know, like the poster child, you know. So then now after I was convicted, 30 minutes later, shut down all the roads they put me on a National Guard plane, you know, out of there.
Right.
Wow.
To never return again.
To that same.
Never return. A lot of people never really thought that they would see me again. I mean, maybe even my friend, them people that, you know, not like the enemies.
Right.
Me? Man, you give me life. That's how long you give me to try to come out of jail, man.
Right.
You sentence me to death.
Right.
With my guy, like, you know, I know once I find myself in prison, I realized real quick that I was better than this situation. Prison ain't our way cracked out to be about tough and rough. No, is a retarded existence.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just like a warehouse with cells in it. What are you doing in here?
Yeah.
And you
Right.
could do so much more out there.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so it just became like a journey for me. Just like how it was a journey for me learning anything else, it became a greater journey for me to try to get out of in
How
here.
old you was when you went in?
23, come out when I was 48.
23, you
Yeah.
went in there.
Yeah.
So from 16 to 23,
Yeah.
that's pretty much your prime years of your entire life.
Exactly. And I try to share the message to the kids. Them is like, okay, that's like 5 years
Mm-hmm.
living the high life.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, like in other words, you can't put it on a triple beam.
Exactly.
It do not equate or can't add up to 25 years in jail.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. You
You
don't
can't
balance up.
add that up. Like, it's no comparison.
Yeah, you
so,
don't balance up.
like, you got to know what you're into now.
Yeah.
And you got to know, like, for me and us, like, for the most part with me and my brothers and things like that, like, when it come to the streets, we were able to be who we was, go through what we went through, and still come out and be, like,
Productive.
yeah.
Yeah.
like you're not really damaged.
Right.
It's because we was already knowing what we were getting into.
Mhm.
It wasn't no surprise. But a lot of the time for these kids right now,
They
they're just
understand.
watching TV
Yeah.
and trying a thing.
Yeah.
And then now they get in trouble.
Yeah.
And I sit down in prison, right? And I see, especially man from home, they don't probably get 8 bodies under the belt.
Right.
Mhm.
But then now when you come to prison, welcome to the big leagues,
Mhm.
Right.
Everybody done did that. What else do you have to offer?
Exactly.
Right.
And these man they don't have no family support, nothing. They don't have a girlfriend. It's only the grandmother might send something out of Social Security, and you got to see them man knocking on police officers' doors who's convicted of crimes,
Right.
and they got to be can. Excuse me, sir. Do you think I could borrow 3 ramen noodles and a summer sausage or some mackerel until when I get paid from the kitchen? Motherfucker, you don't kill 8 people.
Mm-hmm.
Is a police officer who in there forever, you gonna go on. Like
Right.
whip out your badness gone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where all of it gone.
Yeah.
Right.
Like in other words, you yourself supposed to be in here in the first place.
Yeah.
So
You ain't built for it.
Yeah.
let me ask you this: I know you see a lot of money,
Yes.
right? What went through your mind? Because we don't get to prison life, but that moment when you get sentenced and they say not, like nobody can get natural life. Use the force
In the in the local court.
in the local courts.
Yes.
Is what I mean, right?
Yeah.
What would that, when you hear that? What would that first emotion, that first reaction?
It sounded like you were really angry throughout the whole vibe.
No, I was real quiet because I already know what was going on.
Got you.
So then now when the day of sentencing come, like in other words, okay, well, cool, I'm gonna fight the case, see what happened. Because in the case was so like the bullet, like the bullet to take out the dude head, because they never get no gun from me.
Mm.
That's the reason I choose to fight the case.
Right.
They never get no gun from me. 'Cause I don't throw the gun away.
Right.
So then now they rush to judge. So they take the bullet from the dude head, take the 7 shell casings, and take the police shell casings that they fire 45 times at 45 rounds after me and send it to FBI. And the results come back. Yeah, it matched to the 7 shell casings, but it matched up to 3 of the police. So in other words, I was in a crossfire and somebody come and shot at me from the truck first. And
Right.
had people had witnessed, I had a driver of the truck to come and so like I had a bullet in the meter bag that probably been there months and months ago that the man from Wapa come and say it happened that day.
Yeah.
Right.
For me. But in other words, the Don was out to get me.
Yeah.
So like I ain't went up there with no stupid defense.
Yeah.
I
Right.
went up there with
A good defense.
a good defense, but
Right.
it was the times.
Yeah,
So that's what kind of,
Right. So that feeling, that when you say natural life, what was that initial feeling?
I like, when I went for it was a formality. I want to get out of this whole
Process.
because I already once you get convicted,
Right.
right? Natural life automatically. The only reason they had to pour off my sentencing is because it was 1st-degree murder and 1st-degree assault.
Right.
So then now you got to do a pre-sentence report for the assault.
Mm-hmm.
So they put it off for a month. So then now when I know a month from now I know the guidelines say natural for 1st-degree murder is automatic natural life. So this is something they're gonna just read after you.
Right.
And Vaughn Hodge, like I could have tell that was his first time. He was the
Right.
chief judge. He never sentenced no one to natural life as well.
Right.
And he expressed that in the court. Me and him is cool up to now. I never felt no way about
Mhm.
him being a judge is because you just a part of
The system.
this whole thing.
This monster.
You know,
Right.
like the system might be something negative, but the whole mechanism, use a judge, use a prosecutor, so on and so forth, so, but it wasn't no hard feelings.
Yeah.
But when he sentenced me to natural life, I was just ready to get out of there. And then now when they come and want to put me on the plane, and I don't know where I was going.
Right.
But I don't know. I just wanted to get out of this because wherever I going, it done got man, they doing it already for years. I could do it too.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't care where I gonna go.
And it's interesting that your perspective was they ain't sentenced me to death. They sentenced me, so I have a lifetime to figure out how to get out of this.
It's because for me, I always try to govern myself under the 3 R's: remorse, reflection, and redemption.
Right.
So in other words, I'm sorry for the pain that I've caused to anyone unjustified, right? I reflect on what got me there and how do you redeem yourself.
Right.
So then now that's why my thing is always to want to deal with the kids in sports, in the schools and anything, the knuckleheads, is because you ain't better than me, you know?
Right.
I been with you ain't even want to go.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like I could do it too. You don't want to go there.
Right.
It's like I say, ain't about being rough and tough. It's just a lonely, retarded existence for somebody with potential.
Yeah.
Being that this is the Caribbean Currency Podcast, that I know that inside a prison there's an economy, can you kind of like just elaborate on us how that prison economy works different from the real world as far as people having money, not having money, asking him. I have a cousin in prison right now, and I swear he'd call all of us one by one. He gonna walk me for 3 months. He gonna walk Sony for 3 months. He gonna walk Pressure for 3 months. Like he gonna walk all of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how does that relationship with money works? And then being too, like not everybody went to prison the way you went to prison. You went to prison flush with cash. Like you were making money. Some people go to prison, they were broke their whole life and then end up in outside. You know what I mean? So that transition of having that money where you could do what you want and then being in prison, like how that economically worked for you in there.
Well, I mean, look, you want to hear how it's supposed to go. You want to hear the truth.
I want to hear the truth.
I went jail with no money.
Well, not that you went with any money.
The money was taken from me, from the same one of them that took a vow. In other words, so you're expendable.
Right.
So I go to, things happen. I go to trial with a public defender and things like that. It's like how it turned to that.
Right.
Me, the cat. But cool. I find myself in this situation. I got to endure. So then now when I go in prison, guess what I going to do? When you're in Rome, you got to do as the Romans do. Every girl that come to visit me and you give me a kiss, you ain't giving it to me for free.
Right.
It's some kind of weed or dope that you're going to have to give me, and then now I could liquidate it in the prison and make money. I had to do it in my all years. So in a lot of instances, like when you see me, it's like if I have to like really tell people will watch like how he get pardoned.
Right.
He ain't supposed to be here now is because the traditional pardons be somebody that's now a devout Christian and the this and that. I mean, for the most part, the same way I went in, I went out, but just a little more smarter now.
Right. You were in an environment and you had to survive.
I had to survive.
You had to survive.
Other than that, I would have been one of them dudes. Hey, can I get phone?
Exactly.
Not me. I done in jail doing natural life. What you think I gonna do?
Exactly. Right. So even in jail,
so it's like it just became finesse.
Exactly. So even in a space like in prison, you still had to have some kind of financial literacy to understand. Like, listen, I need to survive in here and things. And even in jail, things cost money.
Exactly. No, the cost of living in jail is very expensive.
See? So in a sense like that, where you leveraging your companionship, a kiss, wherever it is, for something of value.
Something that when I leave from the visit, I could survive.
Exactly.
I could eat.
Exactly.
I remember.
Go ahead.
I remember calling you. I remember I was calling one of my partner them, and you were in the room. I had PlayStation. I had everything. I had things me even had. You know what I mean? I used to come on the phone and we used to reason and stuff like that. This was kind of coming towards the end. You already do a lot of time.
In Florida.
You're in Florida, you're like, you're working on certain things and the promise of coming home. You're almost like a champ was coming home for us. Like, wow. Listen, man, we need a champ to come home. This iconic figure. People grew up hearing about him, never seen before in their life. You know what I mean?
The PlayStation thing that you're talking about is like seem like it's like a I mean, where we was at? Well, we was in the feds. All of us was in the feds.
Right.
They shipped me out to the feds
Right.
back in 2001. They handpicked 12. They took back 92 of the local prisoners that was in the feds.
Right.
Because the Virgin Islands wasn't paying the contract. So
Right.
we kind of got kicked out.
Right.
They took back 92. And they handpicked 12 of us, me, Shabazz, the Fountain Valley, Kano, Ayama, different people.
Right.
And they deemed us too dangerous and disruptive to bring back right now. And they start a contract at a Supermax in Walland Ridge.
Right.
Up in Appalachian Mountains, they cut a hole out of the mountain and pour a jail.
Right.
So then now, like, for me, it's like, at one time, it went from cool to what the fuck?
Yeah.
Right.
I thought it couldn't get no worse.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's when I know I coming out. I got to come out there. So the time spent in there was just trying to get out of jail because jail ain't getting better.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not getting
Ain't
better.
getting easier.
No, it ain't getting
Ain't
easier.
no easier.
A lot of the program that your customer seeing going and things like that. So you're just under pressure alone.
Yeah.
you
Right.
know? So then now with the PlayStation thing is, right, they sent us like all over. So we end up now in Florida. It's a CCA. That means it's like a little contract place.
Right.
And we come from in the feds level 5, 6, 7 penitentiary by 2,000 in population, 3,000 is an open population. 4 baseball field, football field, where you could free up.
Right.
Now they bring us and have us in a cell
Right.
all day for 23 hours. We just in a unit like a warehouse with cells. They leave go out for an hour
Yeah.
and thing. But then now what they want to do is appease you by giving you PlayStation.
In your PlayStation.
That shit gonna get old too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No. I just come from doing regular time. So in other words, you putting me back to be a detainee.
Right.
I was a detainee before I got sentenced. I got sentenced and it's supposed to be easier. I don't do 20-something years and it gone back to where I started. I just lock up in a room again.
Yeah.
That's what the man going through right now.
Right.
So everybody in the island that catching the case and thing, ain't no more feds, ain't no more Golden Grove. You going to a warehouse
Right.
with cells.
With cells.
So it's like, who would want to do that day?
Right.
So somebody on the outside would hear that I had PlayStation and thing in there
And think like, yeah, man, I
yeah,
can go
man,
do that.
they
Yeah.
ain't
You
it?
got place, you're going to get old.
Yeah.
You're going to get old.
Yeah.
Where you
How
going
much
to get
time
the
you gonna play
game?
the game?
Where you going to get
Exactly.
the money from? Your grandmother?
Yeah, exactly.
It's $500, $600 for one of them.
I could tell you.
How much the game them cost? Them man ain't got them kind of money.
Money, exactly.
When did the opportunity or the realization of gang pardon became something that like, okay, this
Within
this
reach.
could happen?
Yeah.
No, well, it was like, I don't throw my hat in the ring. 3 times total. Tumble, I was just fresh in jail.
Right.
Yeah, I lost like 28 man, like they were complaining about him.
Yeah.
And then the next one was, they had brought us back to Golden Grove. So then now once they brought me, even though they had Zion me away, right, and condemned me, once I came back, and they kind of get used to me because it's officers from St. Croix and I from St. Thomas.
Right.
So they don't know me personally. All they know is what they read in the newspaper.
Right.
I was the West Posse gang leader. My posse stretches from Parliament, Pacing Garden, down to Corwin Terrace.
Right.
So when the officers in St. Croix would think I was a gang leader, which gang leader will go jail by himself?
Right.
Exactly.
But
Right.
that's just, propaganda.
Right.
So when they do finally take the chance and bring me back, and they realize this man, all right, man, they start to send me out to the schools and the university to talk to the kids.
Right.
So that was the momentum. So then now the young getting ready to come out of office, throw my hat in the ring, everybody, like, yeah, you're going to get pardoned. I don't hear this and that. It didn't happen,
Right.
because he just didn't lose nobody with murder.
Right.
That was his, he done said that from the out and he just lived through it.
Right.
So then now with MAP, did I know it was going to happen? Not really, no. Because
They were
like I
more
say,
the same because you hear it so much time before.
not
right?
only that, MAP is from St. Croix.
Yeah.
Right.
You understand? I'm from St. Thomas. We don't really know each other.
Yeah.
So in other words, just been my body at work.
Yes.
At the time that when I put in my request for clemency is when you do the research is like, he
He could be
do more.
valuable to the
He could do
outside.
more out there
All
than
day
in
that in
here.
here.
Right.
It's because now when they send me Florida, after they send us back Florida now, after I was in Golden Grove, because they shutting down the place. Now once the Florida correctional officers or administration find out that I either go to schools and university, they're doing the same thing.
Right.
They got me doing this. They waking me up 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, because some kid run away from home, some, white kid, and think I got to sit down and counsel him. They bring us, a group of kids from school. So I was continually doing that all the time.
Right.
And that wasn't no finesse.
Right.
I was sincere about that.
Yeah,
because kids are kids no matter where they at.
And being that you went in so young, you could kind of relate, like, bro, you didn't want to do this.
Yes, and then the thing is, I would like to do more for my people at home that can relate, but wherever I'm at, I don't try to, try to make a difference.
Exactly.
So when that call came that, Map do the right thing, as I would say. That's what we say.
That's
you
what
know
we
what I mean?
say.
I was
Definitely.
like, Map finally do the right thing.
We wish Tom would have do.
Me know about all the other stuff them man do to help everybody else. Them man lose our guy. So that's the right thing.
I mean,
how that feel for you?
For me, like, what it is happen because the man, I done here, like a decision is coming out today. Today's the day he got to pull the thing out in the paper.
Right.
I done get Pogo helping me and things like that, and Dana and different people. So like I position myself properly, but then now, is it going to happen?
Right.
So then now it's like, wow, then I could remember, because the man, we got cell phone, CJ, my sister, ex-husband, Carl me, boom, yeah, coming up, man, but who tell you?
Exactly.
Like, don't worry about nothing. I said, but like, who say?
Yeah, come on.
Give me some name, the man, I ain't in jail. So then now, next year, the man called me down in a room and they came out and the consortium.
Yeah.
My name was one of them. So I just went up in my cell and like just look around. It wasn't like, I was like, yeah, it wasn't no
tribulation. It was just like,
it was just like,
right.
For real.
Right.
Yeah.
And then now I stayed there for a long time. I mean, I didn't come like the next day. They took a month to come get me. And I thinking any day now, they gonna come with some fuck
and change it.
some kind of skeleton gonna come out or something. They're gonna be like, no, we change our mind. So then now it was like, what it is that happened was they came and got me December 31st. So then now I fly in all day. So I January 4th. But how they booked the flight, I reaching into St. Croix, 10 o'clock in the night.
Yeah.
The airport closed, I can't go St. Thomas. So they're saying that I gonna stay in the jail. So can I, have my family or something drop off some clothes so that they could, take me seaplane. I said, call my cousin, Eric.
Right.
Down by Miguel.
Yeah.
Castro. I said, call my cousin. Because they by the airport, because the stateside officers, them handed me over to the local officers by the airport. I said, call my cousin. They line up the clothes. We got to Miami. They're saying, well, what they're saying is if you could find somebody to stay with in St. Croix, we'll let you out tonight, Call my cousin. I ain't got no phone.
Right.
So the plane land, 10 o'clock. Look like the man got email. Plans change. The man done charter a plane, Robbie is not staying in St. Croix. I was like, what going on here? We got in the airport, tarmac and thing, ain't get nobody out. Then we reach St. Thomas. It looked like the pilot do something like with a Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Turn on the airport runway lights. And I reached the New Year's morning.
New Year's morning.
Yeah.
Now, what year that was?
I think I was 19.
2008.
So Clemency, you're finally home. A lot of people like me happy, the hood happy, family happy, Pogo them happy, everybody who love you happy. What about the victim though? You got a chance to like reconcile with their people, them, have a conversation, express some apologies, or even have a conversation with them or anything.
No. Well, I mean, the conversation meeting part never really happened, but I run into a lot of the dude family members, like, like correction officers that was his family on the Spanish side, and I kind of expressed that wasn't the plan,
Right.
Because everything I learned about the dude, we was similar.
Right.
Spanish and black.
Right.
Do the same things, more you learn. So it wasn't, that wasn't the plan, so. But when I came out now, I went to St. Croix, like, I've been reaching out to on the radio.
Right.
And like in my speech, I don't like act like stick out my chest like,
Yeah, like I do that.
If I had been the rest of them, man, I wouldn't care,
Right.
But like once I ain't gonna want to get no credit for something like that day.
Yeah.
No. I can't glorify that situation.
Exactly.
Not with him,
Yeah.
Right.
So like, I did it throughout the time, but with me meeting his family,
Right.
per se, no, not really. I mean, I kind of heard through the grapevines for years, they kind of been, like under De Young, they've been propelling for me, like, promoting for me not to come out.
Right.
And I kind of, would I feel vexed with them? No, it's because the man gone, he going to be gone forever, and I'm responsible for it.
Right.
But I mean, allow me, like I said, to redeem myself, to kind of, all right, okay, well, ask for forgiveness by way of not like me telling you I'm sorry. Give me the opportunity to prove myself worthy of getting a second chance, you know,
Right.
and doing the right thing with these children out there.
How that adjustment was, you know, coming back out on the road.
Like I know so much things change from when you were. This probably feel like apocalypse for you coming back so much years later, and it's so different from what it is you were used to when you went in. So I know that had to be a crazy transition for you coming out that you went in and a different time, then you do a bunch of different years in prison in different prisons, and then now you are back to where it started, and it looks so different.
Actually, no. Just the characters change. The game remained the same.
Right.
Ain't nothing really changed. You just been away from it.
Yeah.
So you just slow, you know, getting your feet wet again. But like in St. Thomas, nothing what changed. They build up another building over here, another this. But you know, the community and the mentality is still the same.
Yeah.
You know, and thing like that is. So that's why when I first came out, I wanted to stay there, be there.
Yeah.
It's because it was like I felt I owe it to that community by me not excelling.
Right.
You know, like you know, being like a
They
poster
had so
child
much
of-
high hopes, so you
hopes
wanted
for
to
me,
give back to them what that dream. You know what I mean? That they had for you, right? You were their champion, like that.
Yeah, but you know, coming back to the streets, it wasn't like really nothing. I was just like, because you gotta understand. So I would wake up and go to sleep for years to CNN and Sports Center.
Right.
So I was in prison in tune with what's really going on in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
And so much BET and things like that. You know, it was like them things. So I always conditioned myself for what's actually going on out there. So when I came out here, it was like, remember the first time I had Pogo drive me around for a couple of days. I like, what kind of fuck I dealing with? Eric, give me the keys, man. I jump in the car, right? In the Jeep, and I drive like I've been driving for years.
Yeah.
So you just to get back into it because you're used to it, you know?
Yeah.
Right. So what Cat do you know? Like since 2019 ain't that far away.
Yeah, I mean, well,
You know what I mean?
I just left the island in July, moved up here to Atlanta, you know, and a quest as to do this, you know, more the same that I deal with as far as with the sports, with the kids,
Community
trying to community walk,
That fast bar still 93.
about 97.
97.
Okay.
It can't go down.
Okay.
It got 25 years arrest.
Yeah.
I'm strong enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And also, like up here, that's what I want to do now. And it's a good thing you say that, because I always figure that when it comes to the game of baseball, like a lot of the time you run into older trainers and coaches that coulda, used to, but they kind of beyond your years, that they could only tell you about it right now. I could actually go and demonstrate exactly how it need to go as a pitcher, as a shortstop. So for me as a coach, I could be that person to train you and also to mentor you at the same time.
And because it's crazy that you said that, because you didn't have the mentorship,
No.
but you had the trainers.
Exactly.
You had people to teach you how to play baseball, but not teach you how to do life.
See, like in other words, I was perfect on the field. So is a lot of kids up here. But it's when they come off the field and when they go back into their neighborhood is what they're doing.
They get consumed.
You feel like when parents send their kids to you, especially the one them in America, because people home know who you is, but the one them in America, when they do the background and find out your story, did I be reluctant, or did I be more like, you know what, you probably need to hear this to kind of steer you in another
No,
direction?
they don't want to hear it.
Right.
Because like I say, once I do tell my story, it's that of, like I say, I wasn't born bad.
Right.
It was circumstances, and there's a lot of children right now that find themselves at the crossroad that they don't know what to do.
Right.
If I had a history of being in boys' home and I wasn't that guy.
Right.
I just been, I game, I serious. I swear to God, don't fuck around.
Right.
But in other words,
We wasn't looking for.
I wasn't leaving the house looking for no problem. I want girl, I want to make money, I want to go ramp and lime and crack joke.
Right.
But if somebody diss the program, then now you go from 0 to 1,000 in 0 time flat.
Yeah.
Right.
But other than that, it wasn't like a plan, you know?
You feel like the Virgin Islands community, when you come home, are accepting that Rabbie were home, Cat were home.
You
love
feel
were
like,
there.
Yeah, they welcome you back.
They welcome me back. But as far as with the love were there, like, you know, I never had no problem. It seemed like it was like they was receptive to the idea of me being out like, and not just being out though, but being out and being in the field. Because like I say, like you ain't just getting out of jail because your time is up. You done did your time. No, I was granted a favor.
Right.
So how do I repay the favor?
Yeah.
I was let out because of my experience and the potential to help out there.
Yeah.
So I come out there and that's what I started to do.
Right. No, I consider myself fortunate, right? When I was young and I was a little boy, I remember just being young and seeing all the jewelry, Bugs, Sibo,
Alawi,
Rabbie,
Alawi,
Karafi. I'll go. All of us wanted to get sent to the store because
you have to pass out.
when you get sent to the store by one of you, the change is mine.
Yeah, give it.
I got $100 to buy something for $5. I know $95 is mine. So pick me.
Pick me.
You know what I mean? So and then I was saying off camera, you were young. But I thought you were like 50 already. Like big grown man, but really you were like 19 and 20 and 21 living a life. You know what I mean? So I know your story. I feel it on a personal level. I had a car you on some random, you know what I mean? You're going out to the club when you're going to come look for me with that, you know what I mean? With a ramp, with a, you know,
definitely.
It's a lot of big brother type stuff, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
But for the youth, them that don't know, that camera right there, that's the one, right? Kyle, that's not your camera. That's his camera. That camera over there is yours.
This one is mine, the one in the middle.
Them you two watching this right here now, and no cliche stuff. You know what I mean? Because you don't never talk to me at no cliche level. You just keep it 100 with me. Rare man, you're fucking up. You're going about it wrong. Rare man, okay, I like what you're doing. Tell them what you that tell us who you close to about this life that they like treading in and they think that is the force to do it.
Yeah.
That's what they're moving on. We'd hang out and we'd see them moving like this the baddest thing ever.
I mean, like, if we generally speaking now is like, it's a different group of kids, right? And like, for me, as what you call like a counselor, somebody to try to offer, I try to understand why they're acting like this, why they're so different from us, right? And I think it got a lot to do with their parents. A lot of them man parents would crackheads, eh?
Yeah.
So like a lot of the time we don't in the island we learn about ADHD late. You hard head. All the time a lot of them man suffering from mental things.
Yeah.
The communication skills suck because they don't know how to communicate. The minute you press them is I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
Yeah.
That lets you know that they can't communicate back.
Yeah.
So like for me, like for the kids them it ain't so for me to like really talk to the kids them. I could talk to the ones them that could understand and want to receive it, but there's some that can't grasp it.
Yeah.
They don't have ADHD. They have LMNOP. They have something that you never saw in your life before. They understand it. So then now what you got to do is, like, I don't hold just the kids them accountable right now, is the parents and the elected leaders because
that's true.
You know now. What you didn't know then.
Then, exactly.
You know now, and the let's get tough on crime and let this and that play it out.
Yeah.
Try to get into the household.
Exactly.
And find out what's going on.
Exactly.
Because a lot of them don't have parents, like real parents, and then now you expect greatness out of them.
Exactly.
When they end up in prison and they end up being a serial, this is like, why?
And then you just lock them up and
throw them away. Like, and then I was on to the next.
Exactly.
So but for me with the children them, don't never give up.
Yeah.
Don't never give up. I don't care whether you're in prison or you find yourself right now in a situation where you ain't got a mother or a father or you're dangling and things like that. As you get older, the opportunities them gonna be right there for you. That way you gonna come at a certain age where you can make your own decisions.
Yeah.
And you want them to be the right decisions. Like, in other words, by knowing right and wrong.
Right.
Because a lot of the time kids do bullshit is because they don't have nobody to care for them.
Yeah.
And they know they're doing wrong. But at the end of the day, they don't care. It's because there's no love there.
Right.
If somebody's showing them love, then now they'll decide to choose right.
Exactly.
Because they'll choose wrong for all kind of attention.
Yeah,
The wrong
exactly.
kind of attention.
The wrong kind of attention.
But they're looking attention.
Exactly.
I happy you say that because now people get to see what I get from, like what I learn from when I dealing with these youth in the music and I showing this love and I give them my time. On the Caribbean Currency podcast, we like to ask a question, what's your currency, right? Some people currency is money, some people currency is respect, some people currency is love, some people have different types of currencies that are moved throughout the world with, and it ain't always a dollar or a coin or a nickel. I want to know why. I know what my currency is. You know what I mean?
It was the most important.
Yeah, what's the most important?
My vibration. Like in other words, like when I engage people, like I'd try to give you my best joke,
right?
My best advice. Even if I got to cuss you, I'm gonna try to be as nice and diplomatic as I can so you could understand. Like it's my whole vibration. Ain't about like no literal money and thing like that. It's just for people to want to be around you. Like people come around me, they don't be no me want to be around that dude. I'm a comedian. I'm a scholar. I'm a genius in disguise. I only look like this. Like like you'll be like, yeah man, this dude cool.
Of course.
It's because I want to use like my energy to like, to inspire others to like want to just help other people. Just half of my stories and me telling you what it is I to do. And you of the same age or old enough, you could do the same thing too. You find one, like for the kids them that looks up to you for whatever reason, might not be your family member or anything. They look up for you for whatever reason that they like in you. You got to be there for that one.
Exactly. So your vibration would be
my energy and thing like that. That's why that's my money.
I like that.
That's my money.
I like that.
Here for you. I just want to know what game you was playing on the PlayStation. What game?
Fortnite.
No, Fort Knox.
No, thing man.
I know you're talking about we don't even play games like that.
I tell you, it's been so much. I used to play at PlayStation since 2018. No man with all the different. You get all the different things, man.
The stages, right?
Stages.
Everybody's a character. Everybody running around.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the goddamn. I don't play sports, okay?
I went Fort Knox for basic training. I mean, never train. Go back.
I had to play baseball. That's what I do. I had to play baseball, and I want to pitch. I the pitcher. I don't care that like I create my player to play in as a pitcher. You know what I mean? So yeah.
So you say that fastball about 97?
Yeah, man. I can't throw the ball slow. My arm don't allow it to really like come out slow.
You at least remember what PlayStation it was? Because I know today, like, we have an old PlayStation 3, right?
You talking about
so if I tell my kids,
5,
like...
PlayStation 5.
Oh, you had a PlayStation 5? Yeah, like, if I tell my kids, like, listen, we have this old Nintendo, they're like, what? Like, where you get that from?
Exactly.
I know at the Nintendo, I'll take you one back.
Call of Duty Warzone. That's why
Call of Duty. What about the Atari?
Atari, okay.
I never felt too young. Where Uncle them had them Atari.
You edit that part out whereby they didn't know what game it was.
Yeah, that was all part, yeah. Call of Duty. But your PlayStation 5 is what you was asking me.
Right.
Not the game itself, but not the cartridge, but the game.
Yeah, the game.
PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
4 and 5. We went from 3 to 4 to 5. The white is now 7. The man get in jail now.
I telling you.
Because once you could afford it, they're going to let you get to pacify you.
So, being that you got released, you got pardon and stuff. You made connections where you were in there, right? You still keep in touch with some of them man that in there. You just still make sure them man good.
Yes.
Put some money on the books, that type of thing.
Yes. The man will call me like, I would try to, the greatest thing is to be able to go to that wild phone and be able to, it's a process. Like, you got to go through the PIN code and the person number and the ring and they don't answer. And being able to answer the phone. Because a lot of time when I was in there, you're calling these so-called partner users and things like that, you probably ask them for a little $50 or something to put on your book. Yeah, I'm going to do it Friday. And there's not much Fridays you calling them and they champ and they ducking you.
Yeah.
And you just calling.
Yeah.
Like things like that is just being able to answer the phone to somebody in prison.
Yeah.
Because you just vibe with them.
You
tell them because they want to hear what's going on with
you. Want to live through you.
Because that's in one of these days, that's going to be their journey, having to transition back. out. And so they just want to just talk, just conversation.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they're looking for the most
So
part.
you don't make it your
conversation.
business to make sure you could at least be there for them and just to give them that conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I just grateful that you were able to persevere and make it back out on the streets with us.
For real.
I was home with you one time. We had a conversation. We spoke at an event for the police department.
Yeah, down by Griffith
Doing
Park.
stuff like that with you is like me playing with Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I get to go with my big homie and just have this similar. Like I went down my stranger roads as well, but to be able to just do it with you and have you in the flesh, even to just say, hey, watch, are you going club tonight? You know, you saying you're going to pop up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Them type of stuff. I'm just grateful that you able to make it through all that tribulation with a head on your shoulders and continue to lead. I don't think you were leading us, you know. You didn't know you were leading us. You didn't know you were setting an example. You were just living a life.
Yeah.
And we were watching. But to see you go through that, some of us follow you. You know, all of us who followed, who went on the road to come back out and then turn it around.
Yeah.
And they still our big homie. That was big homie when he was doing this. He's our big homie when he's doing this.
Exactly.
And he out on the road and he positive. And we positive.
We positive.
You know what I mean? So like full circle for me.
And one thing I would like to say to like the youth them who are there dangling the edge right now, like they would listen to this and think I could do it too because I hear like speaking so eloquently, like my time was like easy and it was by gift because when they shipped me out on the National Guard plane, they tell me I was going to Marion, Illinois. That's the supermax for the federal prison.
Right.
That's where John Gotti had passed away at.
Right.
And so, well, I was like, cool. I didn't care because they had me in Guaynabo. But in St. Thomas and St. Croix, I already been on a supermax status, locking my cell every day.
Right.
So, in other words, when you're telling me, I learned to do time in the hole.
Right.
So then now, when you ship me away now and you put me in a population, it's like, it's easier. But the thing is who I was, who received me. There was a lot of homeboys, Shabazz, the Fountain Valley, them, Ola, them, Abba, a lot of homeboys from the Virgin Islands because normally, and like with different dudes from the States, you got to show your paperwork. If your paperwork ain't with you, as soon as your property come, they want to see your paperwork. They don't care where it is to make sure you're not an informer.
Right.
I didn't have to go through that.
Right.
It's because all my homeboy, them know exactly what was going on with me.
Right.
So then now when I come to Atlanta, they drop me in Atlanta Penitentiary and tell me I stay in here and wake up the morning. This is who I meet.
Right.
So they welcome me one time.
Right.
So because they done been in the newspaper, they know what going on with me. They know my whole life. They what kind of heard about me growing up. You know? So it was like it was an easy transition for me, but it might not be an easy transition for the next man.
Exactly.
You know?
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Oh, we got on time. Yo, listen, this was legendary.
Yes.
I am so great. Listen, guys are fun.
Yes, sir.
Because I grew up hearing about Rabbie Cat.
Yeah.
And I mean, and as a kid, it sounds like a superhero type of vibe. Not like we glorifying violence.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
But it's just like, yo, this happened for real?
Right.
And he from where I from?
Yeah.
What? So I never was fortunate to meet you as a kid. God, they ship you off so fast.
Right.
But to bring this back full circle now, and now we's adults and we out there engaging in the community and doing community work, a lot of community give backs and outreach, and to have you here, man, honestly, bro, it's a real pleasure, honor, honor, like real talk. I had to remember at certain points, like, you're doing a podcast, you're interviewing somebody, because I hear say, no, my mouth open.
Right.
I hear this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And like, you know, I guess I could do our own little editing or whatever, but like, you know, I was like, you know, start one way and then you forget certain things. And like, you know, my journey in prison wasn't easy.
Yeah.
Right.
As soon as they sent me here in Atlanta Penitentiary, USP, I got there end of November. February, they had a lockdown in the jail. Find somebody there downstairs at the gymnasium in the locker room. So they locked down the jail. Week later, they open it up. I in the gym playing basketball. That's when I know I in jail long. Them Yankee dude is like, hey, youngster, I want them from them man call me youngster to old school, you know.
Like 10 a.m.
Hey, youngster, they packing your property, dog. I like, fuck the game, man. They say, like, man, no, you got till the 4 o'clock conk. You know, like, you could, normally them dudes gonna smuggle things and, once the police packing your property, you're going to the hole.
Right.
If they're doing it themselves, you done gone.
Right.
So I like, fuck it, I gone. Gone, I have the code, gone up in the lieutenant office. Are you looking for me? What's your name? Roberto smile. Turn around. Them had me in a hole for years and I'm out of investigation and for that,
Yes.
Somebody from home.
Right.
That they say, like, you're supposed to go back and, because I didn't know what it is, like how I get wrapped up in it, like
Right.
that, but when the story get kind of
Right,
told from the islands, when they hear about it, that's how it look like. I end up is who could be responsible. He's supposed to go back and over and my brother them, so I sacrificed myself to do it,
Right.
to save them, man.
Right.
I did 2 years in the hole and they sent me on a closer supervision transfer to Terry Hut. And then that they went, I had nothing to do with that.
Right.
That's part of the things that I had to go through just reaching jail.
Right.
Most people could not go crazy and have to sustain this. But like I said, I done kind of been
battle ready.
for the Keto G, trained to go. So like when anything happen, no matter how dramatic or hard, is like, okay, well, just get tougher.
Yeah.
Right.
These are the things you're gonna face in life,
Yeah. But like I said, man, it was really a pleasure having you, brother. And this interview from the beginning to the end was really impactful. I'm pretty sure if we could save one kid listening to this,
Right.
we did, God's work. You know what I mean? So, shout out Sony, production team.
Right.
Red
You
Man.
heard it here first. Caribbean Podcast.
Caribbean Currency Podcast.
Yeah.
I heard it here first. Caribbean Currency Podcast. Roberto, Rabbie Smiles. Kyle, get your credit fix. Red Man Gang Light Entertainment. We can talk to her next week. All right.